What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. All right, so today's video, we're gonna do the first oil change on the Pathfinder. Car has hit 5,000 miles and it's time for its first oil change. Now, Nissan recommends 10,000 mile intervals. You guys open up your books, look it up. I'm not that type of person. My Cadillac recommends 3,700 mile or 7,500 miles intervals, and I still do them at 3,000 miles, even with synthetic oil. So most people with these vehicles, the 2022 Pathfinders, are going to have maintenance plans. You have to follow the maintenance plans, unfortunately, per the dealer, because they can't do them any earlier. If not, you'll run out of the maintenance plans. Also, big disclaimer here. I'm making this video more of an educational purpose. Now, you guys can take that however you want. My suggestion, honestly, is taking your vehicle to the dealer to properly have the oil change done. The reason for that is because if you have a 2022 Pathfinder, more likely you're still under factory warranty for the engine and transmission, which is a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty. Secondly, you may also have an extended warranty. Both of those warranties require you to have paperwork and documentation of your oil change and your maintenance records. You could do them yourself, but you want to make sure you basically fill everything, or I should say have all the proper paperwork, meaning if you're gonna do your own oil change, when you have the receipt of when you bought the filter and the oil and the date and mileage you did the oil change on, that'll be something you want to do. There are actually apps out there that you could actually get and download to your phone, and you could actually log all this stuff or write it down in a nice little booklet where you have all this information. Because if something does happen to that engine while you're doing these oil changes and you have no records of doing the oil changes, you will be paying for a brand new engine yourself. So with that disclaimer being said, like I said, my suggestion is always taking it to the dealer and having it done. Yeah, you may pay a little bit more, but if you want to save yourself some dollars, look for a coupon online. Most dealers have $10 off a service, $15 off, 10% off on their online under the service department. If not, then another way you can save money is buy the oil. That's usually what costs you the most money. Most service departments will charge you between $20 to $25 to do an actual oil change, and that includes disposing of the oil. You know, you don't have to get on your back on the ground to do this. It just, for 20 to 25 bucks, maybe even $30, it's worth it. But if you feel adamant that you want to do your own oil change just because you want to, then this video is going to help you and show you exactly how it's going to do it. Now, this car does carry synthetic oil. It is 0W20. My choice of oil for this vehicle is going to be Pennzoil. Pennzoil is a really good oil. Actually, they tested, actually I'm not saying they tested it. I've seen another YouTuber, Project Farmer, if anybody watches that, he actually did a test, and he did like this nice bracket of all these oils, and he tested every oil the same way throughout videos, and it came down to Pennzoil and AMSOIL and standing last, and the best basically lubricity test and protection. And I use AMSOIL on my Cadillac V-Sport. So that's a performance sedan, I should say. I don't track it or anything like that, but it's got more power, and I drive it a little bit heavier than I drive the Pathfinder. So with that being said, Pennzoil is a really good oil. Most people are gonna do Mobil 1 or whatever you decide to choose. But in my opinion, I'm gonna do Pennzoil, and that's the one I'll be doing on this vehicle. Either way, 5W20 is what this car carries. Your choice of oil is your choice of oil. Make sure it's full synthetic. With that all being said, I'm going to show you what we're going to be using to do this oil change. Anything I don't mention, there will be a link down in the description below that'll basically take you to my store, and you could be able to buy anything you need in there. It has basically the funnels or anything else, any items I'm going to be using on today's oil change. So with that being said, let's find out what we're going to be using, and let's get going with this oil change. We're going to be using a 14mm socket with a 3/8 ratchet, or you could just use a 14mm wrench, a funnel, a container to catch the old oil, a tool to remove your oil filter. I like to use either one of these universal tools. Some brake cleaner to clean any excess oil that may be left off after the oil change. Your oil filter. Your crush washers. And of course, the oil. To jack up the car, you're gonna basically locate these little arrows. They're under the door and the plastic panel. That's your lift points. You're gonna slide your jack underneath there and jack up right on a little thing that's called a pinch wheel. That's a little excess metal. You see kind of a little thin metal hanging down there. That is actually the strongest part of the car to lift up the vehicle. You're going to jack that up for about an inch or two. Now, you're not going to go very high. This car doesn't need very high. You get enough clearance. You just need some more clearance to be able to slide underneath the car. Once you get up enough clearance, go ahead and put a jack stand on there for added support and bring the car down onto the jack stand. Now, I'm just showing you this. I actually have ramps where I ramp up the car just to get the oil changes done. And you can see them right down there. So even if you use ramps or you jack up the car, and even if it's not all the way off the ground, still go ahead and put some wheel chucks in the back of it just for added security. Now we're gonna go ahead and get it under the car. There's gonna be a total of 4 plastic clips you gotta remove, and this is gonna help you get access to the oil drain plug and the actual oil filter. You're gonna take this small little flap, which is basically a sound insulator, and bring it back. I held it back with a bungee cord up to the grill here, or you could just let it hang down and kind of just work with it on there. It's up to you. You're gonna take your 14mm, either socket or your wrench, and go ahead and loosen up the actual drain plug. Before you do this, don't forget to open up the oil cap on top of the motor just to get gravity to do its thing and push the fluid out a lot quicker. While you're waiting for the oil to drain, go ahead and remove the old crush washer from your drain and insert the new crush washer back onto the drain plug. Once that is done, go ahead and tighten up your drain plug and clean up any excess oil with the brake cleaner. Once you do that, go ahead and place your oil pan or whatever container you're using to catch the oil underneath where the filter is at. Now, most filters you may not need this tool. They should just be hand tightened if they're doing it right, and this one was. So I just used my hands basically just to kind of untighten it and unscrew it. Let it drain out little by little. Once you know it's kind of drained out, go ahead and pull the filter out. Make sure that the open then is facing up so you don't make a bigger mess than it's already making. Go ahead and prep up the new filter. You're gonna take this filter and just put a little bit of either, you can use the old used oil or the new oil, and just kind of lube up the actual gasket around the filter. Go ahead and tighten it up in there. And again, you don't need a tool for this. Just make sure it's hand tightened. And clean up any excess oil again with the brake cleaner or any cleaner you're using. Reinsert all the clips back up. You are done pretty much underneath the car. Now we're gonna go ahead and add the oil. It's gonna give you're gonna need to use 5 quarts of oil. And of course, you'll be checking with the dipstick. On the dipstick, you're gonna look for pretty much the hash marks. There's gonna be hash marks. You wanna make sure that the oil is right in the middle of those hash marks. Once you check that out, go ahead and tighten up the cap, and you are done. Now, all that's left to do is reset the maintenance light. To reset the maintenance light, you're gonna go ahead and push your start button once. Do not step on the brake. We're not trying to start the engine. Just turn all the interior electrical on, just so that your display shows up right just like this. Now, if you have the analog gauges, that's perfectly fine. It works the same exact way. You're gonna use your buttons on the left of your steering wheel. These buttons are your scroll button, and you have 2 arrow buttons that are your navigation buttons through your menu. You're gonna navigate all the way till you get to the settings, which is your little gear icon. In the settings, you gotta use your scroll wheel to scroll all the way down till you get to maintenance. The maintenance, of course, will have the little wrench on it. When you get inside the maintenance, you're gonna go ahead and select service, which is the very first one. There you'll see your total interval. You're gonna go ahead and hit the OK and select yes to confirm the reset. When you do that, everything will zero out and they'll give you 99.41 in miles. That's basically close to what Nissan recommends for their service interval, which is 10,000. But this is gonna remind you a little bit sooner. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and back out of the whole menu. And then you'll see, of course, your other resets, your air filter, tires, and other. If you did an air filter for rain, you could go ahead and reset everything. That is set for 12,000, so don't worry about that at this point because we didn't need to do an actual air filter. Same thing if you do a tire rotation, that is set for usually about 6,000 to 7,000 miles on there. And again, we didn't do a rotation this time, so we're gonna leave that one alone. All right, so that is all it takes to change the oil. Now we got to dispose of the old oil, of course, and you got to do that properly, either taking it into a shop, a dealer, or wherever they dispose of oil. And that's what's going back to my first point at the beginning of the video of just having the dealer do it. You don't have to get on your back. You don't have to drag around your oil bucket or anything like that and now dump the oil into another canister to basically, all that just... For me, I did the video so you guys could see it for educational purposes. But what I suggest is just taking the car to the dealer, either getting a coupon or buying the oil yourself and then having them do it for a few dollars. It won't charge you much. And then of course, it'll be all on record and you won't have to worry about keeping a trail of paperwork everywhere. That's what the benefit is, at least from what I see. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.